Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another, just gotta make sure to do this right, Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we begin what I can only describe as we are doing this specifically because I just finished doing Signals by Rush, and when I was doing, I think it was either Losing It or The Weapon, is that I was seriously considering just doing songs from the big chair because of one song on it. And which is why I'm going to do things a little bit differently for this album. Now, I know that Everybody Wants to Rule the World is the third song on Songs from the Big Chair, but just for this once, I'm going to do this a little bit out of order. I'm going to do Everybody Wants to Rule the World last, because for my money, it's not just, in my opinion, the best song that Tears for Fears have ever done, although I've only done about 5 songs from Tears for Fears, so that might still need to change, but it's one of my favorite songs ever made for a very, very good reason. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to get there, and what better way of getting there by first going through Shout, which is another very iconic song. It's not only a very iconic song for Tears for Fears, because it channels a lot of things like How Soon Is Now by the Smiths, and it's not only just because it's one of those songs where you will know it, but you won't maybe not know all of it, because it's quite a long song for these guys, and it kind of runs into the same problem that How Soon Is Now is, because I think it's a great song, but I do think it kind of goes on a little bit. It's a little bit aimless sometimes. Like, it goes on for such a long time when it could have stopped like 3 minutes early. But there are some parts about it that I think are absolutely glorious, and Shout kind of runs into the same problem. But with that being said, the last time I heard this song was in 2015, so opinions do change, and they can change according to reason. So let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. Shout, shout, let it all out. This was also the famous song that James Corden and Dizzy Rascal did a pretty piss poor cover of in 2010, specifically for the World Cup, for the South African World Cup. Anyway, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, and let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Yeah, remember when I said it's been like 7 years since I last heard this? That does not mean to say my memory is dim or anything like that. And again, going back to what I said about the Smiths for just a second, there is a lot to be said about why it works so well for the Smiths as it does for this, because it's slow, it's deliberate, but it means that you will hang on to every single word. In the same way, you will remember that I am the sun and the air. Other time is enough. Otherwise, the shiver I for nothing, a summoner of nothing in particular. And it works just for this as well. So shut your mouth. How can you say I'm going about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to belong, just like everybody else does. I must be insane, because I freaking want to add that to the list as well. So sorry.
Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without.
Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on.
In violent times, you shouldn't have to sell your soul. In black and white, they really ought to know. Those one-track minds that took you for a working boy. Kiss them goodbye. You shouldn't have to jump for joy. You shouldn't have to shout for joy. Let it all out. These are the things I can do without.
Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on.
They gave you life.
And in return you gave them hell.
As cold as ice. I hope we live to tell the tale. I hope we live to show the tale. Let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, shout, let it all out.
These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. Let it all out. These are the things I could do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. Let it all out. These are the things I could do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. I'm talking to you. Come on. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Shout by Tears for Fears. And again, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, I do mean a lot of the things I do say, because if there's one thing I always loved about this group, and maybe it's just because I've only really liked going into this, like, really talking about these guys at volume for this early. But the thing I always come to terms with why I think I like this group so much is that it's not just they sang about, they were very, very open with what they sang about. I mean, you could almost argue that there was something almost kind of like pathological, or almost kind of like brooding about Roland and Kurt. But in reality, it was just... That's just how that was just their style. They looked as though they stood out. They looked as though they dressed to kind of stand out with the way they did the hair and even the earrings. And was it Roland was the guy who had the earrings, and Kurt is just casually wearing a sweater, basically. These guys look like completely out of the ordinary. In fact, nothing completely out of the ordinary. In fact, even the fact that it's just black and white and it just against a grey background, it makes these guys look nothing in particularly special or different, which is kind of, I think there's an appeal to all of this. There's an appeal to the fact that you weren't expecting much, but what you actually get is something very profound, very expressive, and very, very catchy, because the message is literally written in the first line. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. So come on, I'm talking to you. It's everything you really almost... this is, again, one of those examples where if there's ever a song or anything, any indication of what you need to learn about a guy or a band or anything like that, that is really... It's almost summed up right there. And it's even in the title as well, Tears for Fears. So you exchange like almost cowardice, almost like almost fear. You exchange, something like something you could actually transfer into something like a human emotion, as opposed to living scared. You'd rather live crying bitterly rather than living in fear, because you're able to express yourself. It's a human sort of like trait, and it's a very I think it's a very human thing indeed to be expressive and to be very, very open. And I especially love the fact here where it straight up says the song is often mislabeled as an emo song when the message is more a call to action than an expression of pain. And yeah, I really do think that way, because to be honest, it is exactly what it says. Because again, remember when this came out? What was it, 1985 or it was 1984 when it came out. I know I'm reading that right. The Berlin Wall came down 5 years later. Or what about the fact that there was cause to... Because there was one song in particular, I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about as well. It's Free Nelson Mandela. And I want to know just what year did that come out as well from the specials. 1984 as well. So, and maybe this is just a theory of mine, but you could say there was almost quite a lot about songs that had sort of like a drive to them, like almost like a very deep-rooted message for freedom or a call to action. And again, maybe it's a bit of a stretch to say Free Nelson Mandela played a role into this, but at the same time, I think there's a lot to be said in stuff like that. And this is, again, one of those cases where it worked its way into the mainstream. I mean, this went to number one in England for... Was it for number one in England? Well, it doesn't technically say, but it went to the number one of the Billboard Hot 100 for 3 weeks. So it must have been popular, and it must have been popular for a while. So... aside from that, musically wise, it's very simple, but I think that was literally the whole point. Keep it simple, but keep the message. Keep things simple, simplify things, but make sure it's like there's enough in it to believe you're being expressive enough. This is, again, one of those great examples where less means more, and it succeeded. It succeeded like you wouldn't believe. And yes, I probably will be doing that Smiths album that has How Soon Is Now. Hopefully not very long indeed. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to Shout by Tears for Fears. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Shout for yourselves. And I cannot wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care and bye-bye for now.